Hello, namaste. So I just want to go through the levels of vibration today, and this meaning like emotions and the different kind of vibrations that each of these have in our body. And I want to say, we have to remember that, any negative attacks, like I did a video previously on like cyber torture, and, even this, like the cyber torture could be likened to, demonic attacks. Like it's just a different terminology for essentially the same thing. A demon, for example, if it knows your weakness, it'll kind of like leech onto you, and it will, like, let's say if you're an alcoholic, for example, that demon would kind of like force you to find yourself in situations where there's alcohol, for example. If you're like trying to break the habit, for example, it will make sure that you can't do that, right? So, there are ways to build yourself up. And I think looking at this chart, which I'll pull up in a minute, will kind of like help to get an idea of where you need to be as far as on a conscious level, like what vibration you need to work towards. And the higher that vibration is, the less likely that you will be a victim of any of these attacks, whether they are demonic, if you choose to use that terminology, whether they are cyber attacks, CIA mind control, all of these things from like government agencies that seek to control the minds of the people. And, it's interesting because there's actually been a few videos circulating around on the internet where people are, they're like doing their shopping and almost like subliminal messages come out over the loudspeaker, announcing like on a kind of background thing. And that's the power of subliminal messages. And I just want to play a short video clip.
Shopping malls, modern cathedrals to spending money. They're designed to disorientate us and make us stay longer than we need to. Every brick is there to manipulate us to buy. It's the perfect place to find a large number of compliant people to affect.
Welcome to the Wicked Center, Croydon. We hope your shopping experience has been uplifting enough, and I'd like to bring to your pay attention some very special offers today.
What you hear in the background is a Tannoy announcement I pre-recorded and played through the shopping centre.
So why not come right arm up and see for yourself?
After half an hour of absorbing it, they should be ready for a final message. Welcome to the Whitgift Centre, Croydon. We hope your shopping experience is an uplifting arm, and I'd like to bring to your pay attention some very special offers today.
Details of our special offers can be found handily by the lifts, so why not come right arm up and see for yourself? These offers will only be
Available for a short period of time, so all customers wishing to reach up and grab this exciting opportunity should do it now.
I was shopping around with my friends and all of a sudden my hand just went up and I don't know what happened. It was quite embarrassing, but I don't know, it just feels weird.
We're just walking around and we heard him speaking and just everyone put their hands up at the same time.
It made me feel better because everyone was doing it at the same time, but I just didn't know why I'd done it.
We are being brainwashed.
Like TV has known this forever, and that's their main marketing that they do is to use subliminal messages to make people, purchase their products. It's kind of like, the ads that you see on TV with like the ads for medicine, and the people are like happy and they're running around and, essentially, you see like you listen to the happy music, but in the background, they're essentially telling you if you take this medicine, essentially, you could possibly, have internal bleeding, or, have nausea or possibly even die, for example. But nobody's listening to the message. They're listening to the happy music and the people dancing. So it's kind of like this programming, right? Our subconscious is much stronger than our conscious mind. So, but that being said, we have to remember that we're like an energy. We're a ball of energy, and we have like what's called an aura, or what's called, like this energetic field around us that can emanate, anywhere from like 6 feet or more out of our body. They talk about some saints that have, up to 12 feet of this aura. And what happens is they are so like established in ahimsa, or like the non-violence. They are vibrating at such a high level, coming from, from peace and joy and enlightenment, which are some of the highest, highest vibrations on the scale, that even animals will come and sit near them, just because, they want to feel that vibration of peace and joy. So having a look at this chart, we can see here. Now I want to start with the red here. If we go down to, we have force, we have these different things. I just want to focus on the scale, the level, and essentially like life view and emotions, right? So we can see here, like if we're down at like, the red is basically our lower chakra, right? This is our Muladhara chakra, the root chakra. And this is the first chakra. This is where anything can, shame can come out of it. You can feel miserable, humiliation, right? The process, so essentially what we do, and you can go ahead and check out my Udemy course on balancing and healing the chakras through yoga. I have a link to that below as well, for working through your chakras and moving up to a higher vibration, essentially. But all of these lower things that make us feel negative, they make us feel terrible. As we can see, shame, makes us feel miserable, guilt, apathy, grief. So as we can see here from the chart, that this would be the vibrational number or the vibration of these types of emotions. Fear is a really big one. Desire. Desire is our second chakra, as it comes from the process of reproduction. In fact, that is, water rules over the second chakra, the Svadhisthana chakra. And our emotions come from here. We have, even some of these lower emotions sometimes are trapped in both of these chakras. They kind of work simultaneously together. But desire comes from our sexual organs, and we can see, moving up. Now, once we get up to courage, once you move into the space of courage, you start moving up, and our heart chakra and the throat chakra and the third eye, and then eventually enlightenment is our seventh chakra, which is the highest that we can go. So some of the saints, that we talk about, they are at these high levels. And in fact, you can just feel the energy among certain people. If you walk into a certain room, you can feel the difference between, these low vibrating energies. There's very heavy energy there, very stale energy, very negative energy. All of these things, we have a lot of cravings here. In fact, craving is desire. If you have a lot of emotional eating, it means that you're down in these lower chakras. You're not getting something filled. And the only way that we can really work through any of these is essentially by purging some of these lower emotions, right? And a lot of them have to be addressed. This is sometimes also called our shadow self, maybe the things about us that we don't want to address. So, by purging ourselves of these emotions, we can open that space for that higher energy to come in. And once that higher energy is within us, the joy and peace, compassion, the feelings of bliss that we get. If we just have, if we're sitting next to a very enlightened person, we just have this feeling of contentment, this feeling of peace, right? That we don't need to do anything at that moment. We're just completely content. We don't need to eat. We don't need to get up. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to say anything. We just feel peaceful, right? But essentially the way that we can get stronger energetically is, by eliminating the fears, the shame, guilt, eliminating victim mentality, eliminating these emotions that deplete us of energy, essentially. And then we also need to be still in the mind. And so that means not incessantly worrying about things that have not yet come to pass. If you're worrying about what's happening 5 years from now, what good does it do? Especially, the agenda that they have going on right now. If we're focusing only on that, that will be the outcome, right? So we have to, as a human race, we have to all kind of raise our consciousness, because I believe that if everybody's coming from a place of peace and joy, a lot of things that we're seeing out in the world right now simply just would not exist. It just wouldn't be happening that way if we were coming from that place of, love and reasoning. In fact, this is reasoning and understanding. We all need to kind of do our own self-work and kind of raise our consciousness to a higher place for us to, understand what's going on. So, not ruminating on things. Physically, we need to eat foods that nourish our body, that take care of our body. We need fresh air and sunshine. We need to periodically move the physical body, exercise, work the muscles, and having a positive outlook. So, doing some of these things, you purge yourself of the negative, allow that space to be created so light can come in and essentially fill you. Once the light is within you, that aura will shine. And the brighter that shines, the more energetically you're able to fend off any of these negative attacks, like the cyber torture, or like these demonic attacks, or maybe it's gray aliens or whatever it is. Negative entities is essentially what terminology we can use to kind of have just a broad terminology to be able to identify any kind of thing, whether it's on a scientific level or a, religious level or political or, governmental or anything. But essentially the shiner, the more brighter that we shine, the more that negative energy is going to have a hard time leaching our energy or, leaching itself onto us. And I show this scene here of like Gandalf, where he's like pushing away the negative energy. This is essentially us. This is what we need to do. So, we are, every day we are in a type of war, and it's not a war that we have to go out on the street and protest and fight, but it's a mental war, essentially. It's an energetic war that we're fighting. And this is why the self-work is so important. So I'm just going to leave it at that for today. All these links will be below. If you have any other questions or comments, you can go ahead and put them in the comment box below. Hit subscribe if you want to subscribe, and namaste.